Hello one and all, my name is Ryan Bruce, my friends call me Fluff, and today on Riffs, Beards, and Gear, we're going to check out the all-new Astro 20 from Soldano. So when most people think of Soldano, they think of probably the historic SLO 100 amp. Big heaping amounts of gain, and you have two channels, and it's very simple and very big sounding. However, we're gonna go the opposite way today, and we're gonna check out the brand new offering from Soldano, the Astro 20, a 20 watt amplifier with a lot of bells and whistles. Now, before we go any further, this is not a sponsored video. This is a loaner amp loaned to me from Soldano. Also, Mike Soldano is an actual real life friend of mine. I am checking out this amp and then sending it on back. I'm not being paid to make this video. However, all thoughts and opinions are still mine. So a lot of people may not think of Mike Soldano as a purveyor of technology. However, using the X99 preamp as an example, he had motorized functions on a preamp in the early 90s and really always wanted to embrace technology more so than he was actually able to in the 90s because he was just busy building amps. However, the Astro 20 represents a revisiting to the technology that we all know and love today as modern guitar players. So first, the Astro 20 as an amplifier is a 3-channel amplifier. It has 3 different modes, galaxies, and it also has onboard cab emulated output via XLR on the back. You can load 6 impulses, although they come stock with 6 impulses by Michael Nielsen, which sound fantastic. There's also a MIDI foot controller, a universal MIDI foot controller included with the amplifier, a bunch of bells and whistles, and we're going to dive into all of those things in this video. Let's hear this thing in the context of a mix first. So the Astro 20 is a 6V6 powered amplifier. You have your clean channel, which is always going to be clean, and then you have 2 gain channels, and within those 2 gain channels you have 3 different galaxy modes, and those basically represent a succession of gain, less to more, over 3 individual steps represented by the blue, purple, and red galaxies, okay? And in any of those galaxies, you can configure and store those. Basically, think of them as slots within the amplifier. So for example, I can have a clean channel, and then I can have 2 gain channels with 2 different impulses on each of those tones out of the XLR. I can also utilize 2 purple galaxies. I can utilize a purple and a red, or a blue and a purple. Whatever I'm feeling, I can utilize within the amp. Now, I will note that all of the channels and the galaxies share the EQ, but the EQ has been tailored so you don't have to choose between a particular tone or mode to get your best tone. So between all of the galaxies, you get a nice tonal evenness throughout. Now, before we get into the playthrough, let me talk a little bit about the controlling desktop software. Now, this has a USB port on the back, and you can load your own impulses, if you would like, onto the Astro 20, and it will accept any impulse format as long as it's a WAV file. So 44.1 all the way up to 96K sample rates are totally fine. You basically use the desktop software to load impulses, and you can addition impulses, but I want to stress you don't need the desktop software to utilize all of the Astro 20's features. You can do that right on the front panel if you like, but if you feel like additionally opening up some additional tones and customizing it further, you can then move to the desktop software. So let me show you how the desktop software and the impulse direct section works with a little bit of a playthrough. All right, so I have the Soldano Astro 20 in front of me here on the desk. I also have the desktop controller software going at the same time. Now, what you need to know with the desktop software is this is to load IRs. This is also to quickly kind of go through the various modes of the amplifier. However, you still have to tactfully dial in the amplifier and turn some knobs, right? So you do not change the dials on here. This is not digital. This is not a fully digital amplifier. This is just to aid you in quickly getting to a particular sound, especially when using the direct XLR out, which we will go over right now. So this is the view. Right now I am in my clean channel. That's always the green channel. I have no galaxy option here. As you can see, this is also true for the front panel. I now have 2 additional channels. I like to call them slots because if I go to a particular channel, we'll call this channel 2, I can make the sound however I want with the 3 different galaxy modes and then save this configuration in this particular slot. I can make these the same, but notice I have channels 2 and 3 basically the same except for different impulses loaded on that particular tone. Does that make sense? So I have 3 different tonal slots in 3 modes for 2 of them, okay? First, let's just go over some sounds. Here is my bass clean tone using one of the stock impulses, the 412 Legend Deep. Now for the clean channel, I have a single tone control. I also have a 3-way bright switch, which is not accessible on the desktop software because it is a physical 3-way switch. However, if I want to additionally affect the direct sound, I can play with the impulses. Pretty cool. So if I want to go down to any of these impulses, I can select it for this particular channel. If I want to go and select any other impulse that I happen to have in my collection, I can do just that right now. When I am done tweaking, I can simply hit the save button and I am saved for this particular channel. Now let's move on to channel 2. Let's get some gain tones going. Let's start with the blue channel, with the blue mode. I like the overall tone, but let's play with an impulse. Now gain 1 on the Astro coincides with channel 2 or slot 2, okay? So it's always gonna be this gain 1. Now notice I haven't even touched any of the tone dials yet, the actual EQ. I don't feel like I need to. Let's play with the galaxy mode in this slot. I'm gonna play with the IRs and notice the individual lights on the little atomic logo coincide with the individual impulse that is being loaded. Isn't that a great attention to detail? Let's see how this impulse sounds with this particular tone. Now I have some ML Sound Lab impulses going on. This is a Friedman cab. So if I want to know what any of the factory IRs are, I can hit this plus button, and I can kind of scroll through and just read up on the information on what the actual cabinets are. So in this particular instance, we are on the 412 V30. This is a Marshall. Now if I want to audition those, I can turn on audition and it will switch as I switch these. Pretty cool. I'm gonna turn the audition off and I'm gonna go back to, let's see, I wanna make this, yeah, I wanna make it, I like the 412. Turn that off, close that out. For this particular tone, I like this tone, so I'm going to hit save. I'm gonna save it to the Astro 20. Next, let's go to the third channel. This is gonna be the higher gain. This is gonna be pretty gainy. Now this particular cab that I'm using is an ML Sound Lab impulse of a Zilla cab, which I particularly like for this tone. I like this tone. I'm going to save it. And now I'm off to the gig, the Astro 20. So what do I think? This amplifier is less than $2,000, and that is pretty cool. This is a Soldano. However, it's kind of a step towards the modern player that doesn't need a 100-watt amplifier, that wants to record in their bedroom or a small space, that doesn't necessarily have the ability to crank up with a cab or record with a cab. This is for the modern guitar player, but you still have the classic Soldano tones. This amplifier has been a lot of fun in the week or so that I have had it here. I have to send this back tomorrow as of this filming. Very, very enjoyable. Soldano sauce with modern amenities. I love it. I will link down below in the description if you'd like to know more details on the Astro 20. And with that, you've been wonderful. I've been Fluff. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.